Hey, what's up everybody? This is Joshua Casper. I'm here with Plugin Boutique, and today I'm going to show you how to use their new plugin called Radio to sample something and then make a beat out of it inside of your project. So I already have some samples collected, but I'm going to show you where I got them. I'm going to make an old school style hip hop sampled beat where you take an old school track and then chop it up to make it fit inside of a hip hop rhythm. And I use the radio station called Old Timey Radio. If I load radio dictionary, old timey radio, and then the 1940s radio, I'm going to go ahead and click it. Hopefully it's going to load right now. And it has. Let's see what's going on right there.
Miss Sutherland's missing suitor, eh? Quite. I'm sorry she's troubled you, Mr. Holmes. But you know what young girls are.
Okay, so right now it's not music. You can actually see now playing John Stanley Sherlock Holmes, The Case of Identity. So if you wanted to listen to that kind of audiobook, you could do it right now inside of here. And there might actually be some good sampleable stuff inside of there. But earlier today, there was actually some really groovy music, and I actually got a couple of samples that we're going to use inside of this project. So let's go ahead and preview those.
I have here 4 letters which purport to come.
Okay, so that's one, this radio number 2, and all I did to sample that was I just selected the area and hit save selections, and it saved it inside of this library, and that's going to be there until you delete it. It actually saves right to your hard drive, but what's really cool is I can actually just drag and drop it into my project here, and now it's inside of the project I have. There are 2 other samples that I want to use. Let's go ahead and find those.
I didn't marry the girl, did I? It's...
No, your conduct is even worse than that. It's dishonorable and degrading. In the first place, you're the sort of scoundrel who marries... First sweetheart.
Okay, so those are the 3 samples I'm going to use to create a beat, and just remember that's all I did was listen to that radio station and found the clips that I thought might work inside of a hip-hop track, selected them, saved the selection, and boom, dragged them into Ableton Live. Another thing too is there's a comedy station. If I come in and find comedy, and Chuckle Radio always has top-notch comedians in there. Right now it's Tim Wilson. Earlier was Louis Black, Nick DiPaolo. I got caught up listening to the comedy thing while trying to create ideas for this tutorial. But that's an aside. It's a really useful tool, and obviously if you get a good funny joke, you know, that's perfect for like an interlude in your EP or your LP or something like that. Okay, so here I am inside of the project. I've got those 3 samples from radio loaded inside of here. All I had to do is drag and drop. I'm gonna turn off that channel just for a second so you can hear the kind of backing track that I have here. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. And the first part I'm going to do is this kind of breakdown section right here, because it's going to take this radio 008. And if I come up again, turn it on, and just kind of listen to it. So the first thing we need to do is warp this out so it fits the project or any project BPM that we're working in. And the first kind of hit that I hear, like the 1 drop, is right here. I'm going to double click it, right click, set 1 here. And this is actually kind of like a triplet format. It's not like 4 to the floor or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and click right here and move this over. And again right here and move this over. And right there. And if I move my loop brace over, and let's go ahead and set the loop to 4 bars exactly. Okay, and let's move the end to right there. Okay, so this is where the next bar starts, so I'm going to take that and move it over. Cool. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and turn it on Complex Pro, because Complex Pro works best for really full music or full on tracks. Let's listen to that now, front to back. cool. And we could probably tighten it up right here. Oops. Let's see here. Now, we might need to move that in a little bit, but for right now, I think it's looking pretty good. Let's bring the loop back to where it should be. And watch what happens when I drop that over this beat that I had created before. So that's a pretty groovy little breakdown right there. And now let's make the beef. This riser right here, I'm actually going to pull down into the second channel. It's a little bit too aggressive. I'm going to turn it way down. It's already turned down. Turn the fade up a little bit and come in and do something like this. And that might work. It might work here. And the next section is right here. This is kind of where the verse might be. And if it was a hip hop track and I had a vocalist to work with, let's go ahead and listen to this. So this is kind of the one beat, right click, set one here. And again, let's take this loop brace and move it over and make sure it's set to something specific. And let's take this. And here is the next one, move it over. If we listen to the whole thing right here, this is actually where it comes back in. So we're going to want to double click right there and move it over because this is a really nice fill before the loop happens, right? So let's listen to this front to back. Sounds pretty good. And again, if we drop it behind that already working drum beat there. And we can probably make this a little tighter if we wanted to. It depends on how clean you want it to be, right? That sounds a little bit better. And we can duplicate that now. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. Boom, and let's just listen to what we have very quickly and very easily just by sampling something in radio and chopping it up inside Ableton Live. So anyway, that's a pretty sweet track, right? It didn't take a lot of time, and really, I don't know where you would ever find this sample other than kind of the random button inside of the radio plugin. And the fact that you can just hear it and be like, oh, that might work as a chopped sample, select it, save the selection to your hard drive quickly and easily and have it for you. You can even drop it right inside of your DAW and everything's ready to go. I mean, it's a great plugin for stuff like that. I got one other example to show you. I'm going to go ahead and open up a second project here. So this is the other project. And earlier when I was listening to that 40s radio, 1940s radio, it kind of reminded me of like horror films when they kind of wash out that really happy but creepy music into some really big reverb and then have some creepy keys or something like that. And I figured I might try that. And it was so crazy because right when I was thinking of it, I turned on that radio station and it was just the tail end of this track right here. If I come in, this is what the track sounds like here. Go ahead and turn off this for a second. And it cuts in really quick because I literally just turned the radio station on and this was the first part that came out. So I actually missed the rest of the track, but it would have been a gem, especially for horror. I just couldn't believe like the lyrics inside of this track just work perfectly for horror. So let's go ahead and listen.
We'll have this moment forever, but never, never again.
Okay, so that's it. If I turn on this reverb here and turn on this other creepy stuff, let's listen to what we got. And I swear to you, it was right when I was like, let's try out for some horror. That was so perfect. Let's go ahead and listen.
have this moment forever, but never, never again.
So as you can see, it really fit the bill perfectly. And again, that was just a random sample that I would have never, ever been able to track down if I was looking specifically for it. But the fact that radio just gave it to me literally in my lap, and I was able to sample it quickly before it went away, it was just great. And now I have it forever. Anyway, those are just 2 examples of how you use radio in a real world situation. I hope you learned something. Go check out The Plug. It's available right now on Plug-in Boutique. We'll see you next time.